Today, on the Vince Everett Ellison Show, there are a lot of black people out there talking about you can't compare Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King. You are correct. Charlie Kirk is 1,000 times better than Martin Luther King. And I'm going to explain the comparison today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. Let's get this thing started. Since my friend Charlie Kirk passed away, there's been a post-mortem done on his life. And no matter what you show people, no matter how many ways you show it, people are going to try to say Charlie Kirk is racist. And it's a stone cold, absolute, bald-faced lie. But these jokers on the left have to do it. They've been given their marching orders. And they can't get Christian people to listen to Charlie Kirk straight up because they know if they listen to him straight up that they're going to turn to Charlie Kirk's way of thinking. And that's dangerous. Because everywhere Charlie Kirk went, Charlie Kirk talked, he spoke the name of Jesus. He told people to read their Bibles, to join a good church, become men of God. And so here's that one now, because Charlie's a martyr, people try to say, well, people trying to compare Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King Jr. You can't compare that white boy, that racist, to Martin Luther King Jr. Well, Charlie Kirk wasn't no racist.
About all of these Negro preachers who've been, in fact, talking about that this man that was killed was the answer to Christ in the earth. Y'all ain't saying that they having moments of silence in black churches all over the country over a man that was racist and a white supremacist. How dare you compare him to Martin Luther King? The only thing that Charlie Chris and Martin Luther King got in common is both of them was killed by a white man. After that, they got nothing else in common.
And you are also correct. You're right on two fronts. Well, you're wrong on one. He wasn't a racist. And on the second one, you can't compare him to Martin Luther King Jr. That's for damn sure. Martin Luther King Jr., the FBI said, of all the people they have surveilled, and they have surveilled some horrible people, from drug kingpins, some mass murderers, to rapists, They say that Martin Luther King was the third worst person they've ever surveilled in their lives. King was a cat that sat there, had an orgy going on with some of his black preacher friends. And the FBI says that this black preacher, a friend of his, had brought down some parishioners, some women, from his church for them to misuse and pass around. And that this one woman probably didn't understand that she was going to be used in the way they wanted to use her, and she protested. And so this black preacher decided he was going to sexually assault her, rape her. And instead of Martin Luther King Jr. coming over and protecting the woman and saying, stop that, he gave the guy instructions on how to do it correctly and laughed. Yeah. Guy had orgies, was drunk. He had outside children. Charlie Kirk didn't have any of that. Never called Charlie Kirk, because if they could have, they would have. Believe me, if the Biden administration could have caught Charlie Kirk in an orgy, they would have released that to the press with pictures, man. So never caught Charlie Kirk in no orgy. Far as we know, Charlie Kirk don't have any, he was married, didn't have any outside children on his wife. As far as we know, King did. A lady by the name of Dolores Evans, FBI said, well, matter of fact, this baseball player by the name of Newcomb went to the FBI and told them that King had gotten this woman pregnant. She was a dentist in California, and this dentist was sterile. He couldn't have children. And somehow or another, his wife ends up pregnant, come to find out Martin Luther King Jr., and the woman was getting down. And interestingly enough, when the little girl that's supposed to be King's daughter got married, Andrew Young was the one that officiate the wedding. Everybody knows it. Child looked just like King. So Charlie Kirk doesn't have any outside children on his wife. Martin Luther King Jr. started abortions in the black community and was so instrumental in starting and killing children that he was the first recipient of the Margaret Sanger Award in 1965. That's right. Martin Luther King Jr. got the Margaret Sanger Award for setting up abortion clinics. The abortion industry has killed over 20 million black children. King started it, and Charlie Kirk was pro-life. He fought abortion, specifically in the black community. Told black people to have their children, have as many as you possibly could. That was Charlie Kirk. Martin Luther King Jr. got so debased that they excommunicated him from the black church. The Baptist National Convention kicked him out. So King started his own religion, and that was a progressive National Baptist Convention. That's the sect that Raphael Warnock belongs to. They're a bunch of perverts, LGBTQ, pro-abortion type. That's nothing new religion. It's a political organization, man. Progressive National Baptist Convention. They should call it Whole House National Baptist Convention. So they kicked King out of his church. Charlie never got excommunicated. Matter of fact, when I went to Charlie's memorial service the other day, it turned into a revival. I heard, Patrick Bet-David said it's one of the most amazing things he'd ever been to in his life. Me also. Everybody that went there said it's the most amazing thing they'd ever seen. The President of the United States of America, J.D. Vance, everybody says, man, it was just amazing. 100,000 people were there, and tens of millions of more watched it on television. Newsmax said that 8 million watched it on Newsmax alone. The most watched show by far Newsmax ever had. Fox News carried it. All kind of stuff on the internet carried it. I bet 1 billion people watched that memorial. And it just blew people away. And we talked about Jesus. And this was the most striking difference between Charlie Kirk and Martin Luther King Jr. You can Google it yourself if you don't believe it. Now, you can Google, was Martin Luther King a Christian? And it'll tell you a lie. It'll say yes. But then when you ask, did Martin Luther King Jr. believe in the virgin birth? They'll say, well, no. And he didn't. Did he believe in the deity of Christ? Well, no. Well, he didn't. Did he believe in the actual resurrection? Well, no. They'll say he did. They'll say you're a Christian, but they say he didn't. And he didn't. You can't be those without a Christian. You can't not believe in those and be a Christian. You just can't. It's an impossibility. Didn't believe in the virgin birth, the deity of Christ, or the resurrection. He didn't believe in the actual heaven and hell. Charlie believed in all of those. Every last one of them. Martin Luther King had a dream that one day he wouldn't be judged by the color of his skin. Charlie Kirk didn't dream about that. He dreamed whether or not God was satisfied with him. He didn't go around trying to defend himself to people who tried to say, oh, you're white and you're white. He said, oh, man, I don't want to hear that. I know who I am. I'm concerned about one thing, is God satisfied with me. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted the white man to be satisfied with him. Oh, yeah, marching and fight. Charlie Kirk said, you don't have to march and fight. Are you a Christian? Yes. But then God said he'd take care of you. Yes, he did. All right, then. This is what Charlie Kirk said that the 1964 Civil Rights Act was a bad idea. It should have never been passed. He's right. You know why? Because all you need was one document that says that discrimination, racial discrimination, will not be allowed in the United States of America. End of story. But guess who's in the 1964 Civil Rights Act, y'all? Women, National origin. You know what the national origin was there? Because all of these immigrants were coming over with all these communist ideologies. Used to be you could take them and grab them and kick them out the country. Couldn't do that after the 1964 Civil Rights Act because you ain't supposed to discriminate based on national origin. See how slick they were? The feminists came over. They put in the 1964 Civil Rights Act that you couldn't discriminate on account of gender or sex. So now you got all this LGBTQ crap in there now, and they're trying to jump in that. As a matter of fact, the whole homosexual community latched on to it and used that to end discrimination on the in the workplace and everything else because they latched onto the 1964 Civil Rights Act. They left it wide open so Congress could apply other people to it if they wanted to. So the 1964 Civil Rights Act opened up stuff for all kind of mess, man. But here's the thing about it, y'all. It didn't do anything except put America onto a collision course with God. Used to be if an individual discriminated against you, that's between him and God. Now you have yourself a government that has gone against the word of God by telling its citizens that if we catch you discriminating against people based upon promiscuous sex, based upon pedophilia, based upon bestiality, because that's what you can't discriminate based on sexual orientation, which they applied to the 1964 Civil Rights Act. A joker can walk up into your office and tell you he's a pedophile. You can't fire him because of that. Now, you can fire him if you catch him messing around with a child, but just being a pedophile, nope. He's protected. Why? Because of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, sexual orientation was applied to it. Yeah, that's what Charlie's talking about. It was an open-ended act. Wasn't about racial discrimination, which all of us agree is wrong. Now you got sex, and now you got national origin, and now you have sexual orientation. So after a while, they're going to start putting, because your feet too big, they're trying to put hair in that now. You don't hear about the Crown Act? Yeah, the crown. So if a joker walk around with a girl walk around with her hair looking like a bird nest, she want to come in and apply for a job, you know, you cannot hire her, but you can't tell us because your head looks like a bird nest. So that's why a lot of these children walk around all jacked up, because you used to tell them why you didn't hire them. Can't do that anymore. You just got to say, nah, I don't think you fit here. And they say, why? Tell me. Can't tell you why, because I'll get sued. So you can't tell the boy, no, son, I ain't hiring you because you're walking in here with a dress on, high heels, you got hairy legs, and you got a beard and you got lipstick on your lips. You're discriminating against me because of my sexual orientation. Damn right. Lawsuit. Martin Luther King, 1964 Civil Rights Act. You got it now? So it has nothing to do with race. Here's the fact that it was an open-ended act. Well, all kind of bull crap can be put into it. And it still is, and they knew that when they did it. Started out about race. Then the next thing you know, the feminists were involved in it. Next thing you know, the immigrants were involved in it. Next thing you know, after that, the LGBTQ is involved in it. And then after that, the drag queen's going to get put into it. And then I bet the nudists are going to be put into it. And I mean, so Charlie's right. And then they try to pull out the one, what Charlie Kirk said, that black women can't think for themselves and that they stupid. Charlie Kirk's talking about 4 black women. They had the nerve to stand up and say that they got their jobs based on affirmative action. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sheila Jackson Lee, Michelle Obama said she couldn't have got into Princeton without it. And I think it was that little ugly president at Harvard. I think that was the last one. And he was right. Let me explain this to y'all. See if you get it. You're going to take a nice round number. You got 100 slots to go to a college. Let's say Harvard. And they say the top 100 test scores get into Harvard. So the top 100. Let's say that the scale goes from 100 to 90. So from 100 to 90, that's the bottom score of the top 100. Bam! You look at that top 100, and maybe 2 of them might be black. And you say, man, there ain't enough black people. We need about maybe 8 or 9 more. Well, they didn't make the score. Well, those 8 white people or Jewish people or Asian people that made the score, we're going to pull them out. Poof. Throw them away and put 8 more black people in their slots who made the 70s. And these people who made the score sitting there looking and said, what did I do? You're the wrong color. Charlie Kirk says that's not right. And I say it's not right too. You did take those people's spot. So Gila Jackson Lee, Michelle Obama, Ketanji Brown Jackson, yeah, you did steal a white person's spot or an Asian person's spot. And you're proud of it. And he said you shouldn't have to steal. You have the ability to compete. I looked at the all NFL, or the all NFL defensive team from the beginning of the NFL up until now. All of them were black. All 11. From Ray Lewis to Deion Sanders to Mean Joe Green to Mike Singletary. Yeah. Bruce Smith. Yeah. Reggie White. All black. Why? They earned it. And nobody is complaining because they know it's true. Same thing we did on the football field, we can do in corporate America. We don't need your handouts. And that's what Charlie Kirk said. And oh, man, the poor, coddling, weak Negroes lost their mind. You know why? Because in their minds, they know they can't compete. They know it. These are the ones that know that they need affirmative action. These are the ones that know they need DEI. They know they can't compete. They know it. They've convinced themselves they cannot do it. And they hate Charlie Kirk for it. But Martin Luther King Jr., he's the one that said, I know y'all can't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a government program that's going to move some white people that I know y'all can't compete with because y'all too damn ignorant. And we're going to fix those slots for you. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, I love Dr. King. I love Dr. King. Blow yourself. I remember when I was a boy. And we had moved into our new home, and I was going to another school. And I was supposed to go into the 4th grade. And when I went to the school, they got my records mixed up. And they put me back in the 3rd grade. And I went home and I told my dad, I said, Dad, I think they screwed up at school. I think I'm in 3rd grade. He said, no, boy, you're supposed to be in the 4th grade. I said, well, I know that, but they won't listen to me. You got to come out here and handle that. So, of course, my dad, being my dad, came out there. What the hell going on here? The boy's supposed to be in the 4th grade. And they tried to tell Dad this, the other. Dad wouldn't hear it. And Dad said something I'll never forget. I was a little boy. He said, I tell you what, this boy is smart. He said, he reads newspapers, he reads encyclopedias all the time. You give him any test, he can pass it. Give it to him. That's my father, not being Martin Luther King Jr. Give him any test you got. And I guarantee you he'll pass it. I know my boy. My boy's smart. Sure enough, they gave me the test. I passed the test so good, they put me in the 5th grade. Skipped a grade. Why? My dad didn't say, well, you know, the boy ain't got good sense, so y'all might need to go, go ahead and, do me a favor. Just slide him up there. Cause, no, he didn't say that. He said give him a test. Give it to him. That's what Charlie Kirk's telling black people. They can do it. Give them a test. He didn't say do me a favor. He didn't say slide him up there. He said here's some money, here's a bribe. He didn't say I'm going to go march. I'm going to protest. Give him the hardest test you got. He going to pass it. And that's when your people walk around with their chest stuck out, knowing that they can compete. Put my team against your team. We're Americans. It's time for us to start standing like that. And that's what Charlie Kirk was saying, when Martin Luther King Jr. was always telling us what we couldn't do. Talking about armed insurrection in America. You know armed insurrection in America to make local officials act right. You just walk up there to them and tell them, look, man, let me tell you something. There's 100 of us in this city that's going to come and blow your brains out if you don't allow us to come up here and vote. We ain't having it. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Marxist and a communist. Martin Luther King Jr., as J. Edgar Hoover said, was the biggest liar in the United States of America, the most notorious liar in the United States. He didn't believe in the deity of Christ. He wasn't a Christian. He plagiarized his doctorate, so he wasn't a real doctor. He got kicked out of the National Baptist Convention, so he wasn't a real preacher. So he wasn't a real Christian, wasn't a real preacher, wasn't a real Christian, and at the end of the day, because he was a traitor, he wasn't a real American. The night before he died, he had beat up Dorothy Cotton and slept with 2 women, one at the Rain Motel and one at our house. Charlie Kirk was none of that. So as you all you FBAs, whoever you are, sitting around talking about Charlie Kirk wasn't MLK, you are right. He's 100 times better. And he'll be remembered as such. And no matter what you do to try to tarnish his memory, it's too late. The internet is undefeated, player. People are listening to Charlie Kirk. His stuff is going viral on a whole nother level. And you guys are done. And you know what? I'm enjoying watching this happen. I am just thoroughly enjoying watching you jokers melt down. I'm enjoying watching your lies come uncovered. I'm enjoying watching the American people discover exactly who you are. And with the grace of God and with the help of Vince Everett Ellison, I'm here to wake you up. And I hope I did you some good here today. So join me again for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website. And on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got T-shirts, we got caps. You got my books, my documentaries. You got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new T-shirts. We're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it. Make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the T-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.